YouTube classes. Good morning, students. A warm welcome. It's your online YouTube classes. In the last class, we have discussed about the degrees of comparison. How the adjectives are changed their degrees in their forms while we are transforming these three degrees. Okay. So now, in degrees of comparison, there are three types. First one is positive degree, comparative degree, and the superlative degree. As per rules in the last class, I explained you already. That is clever. If the adjective is ends with R, if the adjective is ends with R in the comparative degree, or in positive degree is ends with R, in the comparative degree you should add just ER to the comparative. And the third one is superlative degree. In the superlative degree, if the adjective is ends with R, in the superlative degree, you should add EST to the superlative degree. As seen, if the positive is ends with Y, you should remove Y and add IER. If the positive is ends with Y, in the comparative degree, you should add IER. And the third one is, and the next one is wise. WISE. If it is ends with E, just add R to the comparative degree. And superlative degree, add EST. By removing Y, add EST to the positive superlative degree and add EST for the superlative degree. So now, big. Big, it is an adjective which was preceded by vowel and end with the consonant. If it is in this form, just double it, like big, bigger, and biggest. And the last one is beautiful. So this is completely different to compare with the other adjectives. Like, see, beautiful, it is a more than two or more syllable word. So what is syllable word? One in syllable word is more than sounds. It is depends on sound how we are giving stress marks into this word. So it contains more than two or more syllable words. So in that situation, it is a long adjective. In that situation, you have to add more beautiful for the comparative degree and most beautiful for the superlative degree. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. If the adjectives are long, if it is more than two syllables, right? So in that situation, we have to use more and most. This is what we are explained in our previous class. Okay, so like more intelligent, most intelligent, popular, more popular, most popular. Like that, the adjectives are changed in their degrees while we are comparing one to another. Okay, now let us go to the another rule. Another rule is there are few adjectives that are accompanied by See, another rule is there are few adjectives that accompanied by to, like senior, junior, and etc. Like these words, you should not use than in the comparative degree. Okay, with the adjectives. How it is, for example, I am elder than her. Don't say always I am elder than her. You should say just don't say elder than her. You should not use than like these adjectives. Okay, so I am elder than her. You should not use than like some adjectives which was accompanied by to. So you should accompanied by to like I am elder to her. Okay, I am junior to her. I am senior to her. Like this, in this situation, you have to use to, right? So now another rule, another example is this car brand. So another example, this car brand is superior than that. You should not say like this, right? In the comparative degree. You should not use than if the words are like senior, junior, and inferior, preferable, elder, prefer. Like these words, you should not use than. So what you have to use here is this car brand is superior to that, not than that. If you use than in the comparative degree, of course, as per rules, than you should use while we are comparing one subject or one thing to the others. But in this context, if the words like this, senior, junior, superior, elder, preferable, prefer, in that situation, you should not use than. Only you have to use to. Okay, you should join to before the after the adjective. Okay, this is the another rule how you have to transform in this rule. Okay, so now let us go to the examples. So now let us change the adjectives and the degrees of comparison without changing meaning of the sentence. In the rules in this context, you should not change after transforming one into another. The meaning of the sentence remains same only. Now, examples. First one is very few Indian towns are so big as Mumbai. See, very few Indian towns are so big as Mumbai, or else as big as also you can write. So, which degree it is? First thing you have to do is you should find out which degree of comparison it is. This is positive degree, right? Because here it is big, is it? So you should not you should find out which degree it is. So this is positive degree. So how you have to change this positive degree into the comparative degree. So this is positive degree. Now, comparative degree. In degrees of comparison, you can change three types. Like it is depends on the question. Afterwards, I'll explain you how to change three types. It is if it is very few or no other, none other, or else only as dash as adjective as like that. They have three types in the degrees of comparison. In three ways you can change the degrees of comparison. Now in this context, the sentence is begins with very few. Okay. So now what is the comparison here? Mumbai is. So now the word is preceded by vowel and ends with the consonant. So it is Mumbai is bigger. Big will change into bigger than most other Indian towns. So now superlative degree. Mumbai is one of the biggest of Indian towns. So this is how we have to interchange the positive to comparative, comparative to superlative. So now see here, very few Indian towns are so big as Mumbai. So how we have to identify the degree here is so big. It is a positive degree. Big is a positive degree. If the sentence is begins with very few or no other or nothing, it is shows the positive degree. And it's a comparative degree. Mumbai is bigger than most other Indian cities. So now here you have used comparative degree, that is bigger, and as well as you have to always use than in the comparative degree. Then so again you may confuse why Miss is using here is most in the comparative degree. As I told you, in the degrees of comparison you can change three types. Okay, so first one, if the sentence is begins with very few, you have to use most other and one of the in the superlative degree. Okay, so now superlative degree, Mumbai is one of the biggest of Indian towns. So here you should use biggest. In Mumbai is one of the biggest of Indian towns. So now next example. So this is how the table, how the degrees are changed there, how the adjectives are changed their degrees in the three types, that is type 1, type 2 and type 3. See, another rule is what you have to follow while you are transforming is that an unrestricted comparative degree should have any other. Unrestricted comparative degree should have any other in the comparative degree. See, if the sentence is begins with no other or none other, you have to use any other or else all other, right? And restricted comparative degree should have most other. Restricted comparative degree should have most other, like very few plus then or plus very few in the positive degree, in the comparative degree, then plus many other or most other. This is restricted. So how we, as per rules, you have to use, you can use most in the comparative degree in that situation, right? So while you are, if the positive degree is starts with very few, you should use most other in the comparative degree. Don't be confused. If the positive degree is start with very few, you should use most other or many other in the comparative degree. And another most thing is you should write most one of the in the superlative degree, one of the in the superlative degree and most other in the comparative degree if the positive sentences begins with very few. And if the positive degree is starts with as in between adjective. Okay, if there is no very few and no other, if only if it is starts with as in the adjective between as and as, it contains as and as in the middle of the sentence. So if you have to use more than or else if the adjectives are, which adjectives are ends with er plus then. Okay, and you should use the most thing, superlative degree. If it is two individuals, there is no comparison. If it is compared to others, like whole or all, you should use most. So this is how you should follow these three types while you are transforming. You should follow these three types while you are transforming: positive to comparative, comparative to superlative, superlative to again positive, whatever it may be. In your examination, they will ask one degree. You should identify the degree and rest of all other degrees you have to transfer in your examination. Okay, which carries 1 or 2 marks for your examination purpose. Now, let us go to the another examples. Along with the examples, I will explain you how the degrees will change and how to transform one sentences into all degrees. Okay, so now I will explain you again in the degrees. It has three types. First, as and no other, none other, and very few. If the positive degree is start with no other or none other, you have to follow in the comparative degree than plus any other or than plus all other in the comparative degree. And the same thing, if the comparative degree is starts with, if the positive degree is start with no other or none other, you have to write the, like the cleverest, the greatest, the biggest, like that you have to write in the superlative degree. And same in the type 3. What is type 3 here is, if the positive degree is start with very few. And the previous example, what I said, very few Indian cities. Okay, so what I have used there, I have used one of the country. So one of the town, it is the most one of the town I have used in that previous example. So than plus many other or most other. Than plus many other or else than plus most other. In the superlative degree, you have to use one of the. Always you have to use one of the. This is three ways you have to use. So this is paired with this thing. Okay, you should not use, if the sentences start with no other, you should not use many other or most other. You have to use always any other. Okay, and if it is start with no other, you should not use one of the. Just you have to use the biggest, the smallest, the greatest, like that you have to use. If you remember these table, you will be perfect in this degrees of comparison while you are transforming in the examination. Okay, you have to keep it in your mind, this table, restricted and unrestricted. See here, this is restricted. You can call this is the restricted comparative degree, and this is unrestricted comparative degree. This is restricted, unrestricted comparative degree. This is restricted comparative degree. This table you have to keep it in your mind. We'll just go to the another examples. No other poet in English is as great as Milton. So this is which degree it is. First thing you have to do is identify the degree. Which degree it is? It is comparative. So it is positive degree, because as positive degree and as. Okay, and also the sentence is the degree is begin with no other, right? So if the sentence is begin with no other, what you have to do here? This is positive degree, positive, comparative, superlative. Okay, so if in the positive no other, the comparative what you have to do? If there is no other, then you have to change it into any other, the comparative degree. Okay, and again the same rule you have to follow in this, many other or most other in the superlative degree. Most other. This is called many other or most other is restricted, and another one is positive, comparative and superlative. If it is positive degree, it starts with very few, and if you have to use many other, in the superlative degree, one or the. This is you have to keep it in your mind while you are transforming. So now, no other poet in English is as great as Milton. Okay. So now, If the positive degree is start with no other, you have to use any other in the comparative degree. As you know, this is positive degree. Now you have to change it into comparative degree. Milton is greater than any other poet in English. So now superlative degree. Again, what is the superlative degree here? You should use the greatest. Okay, you can use est, er according to the context. What is the adjectives are given in the sentence, right? Milton is the greatest poet in English. I think you are understanding how to transform it. See, no other poet in English is as great as Milton. So how you have to change? If the sentence begins with no other, you should use any other, than plus any other. Okay, Milton is greater than any other poet in English. Okay, so now what is superlative? In the superlative degree, and same thing you have to follow here is superlative degree, the article, the definite article the always used in the superlative degree as per rules. See, the greatest poet. Milton is the greatest poet in English. So this is unrestricted. This is unrestricted comparative degree. Unrestricted comparative degree. Because this is any other thing. What is the sentence begins with no other. And next example. Very few stories are as remarkable as this. So this is positive degree. Right? Very few stories are as remarkable as this. So if the sentence starts with very few and as adjective plus as plus adjective plus as. Okay, so this is longest adjective. It has more than 2 syllables. Remarkable, like this. Okay, so which is the word which has more than 1 or 2 vowels sounds. That is more than 1 or 2 syllable word. Okay, so this is more than 2 syllable word. So you have to use more remarkable and most remarkable. Now you have to change into comparative degree. So Milton is, sorry, not Milton. It is more remarkable than most other or most other stories. Superlative degree, it is most remarkable story. So now this is restricted. How? If the word is, if this positive degree is started with very few. So in the comparative degree, what you have to use here is many other or most other. How it is termed more and most in each one sentence? Because as per rule you have to use more and most in more than more than two syllable word. Okay, you have to use more or most for the more than two syllable adjective. Like you have used more, remarkable. Now most other means, as per rule, if the word is start with very few, you have to use most other in the comparative degree. So it is the more remarkable than most other stories. And as superlative degree is same, it is the most remarkable. Sorry, it is one of the most remarkable. It is one of the most remarkable story. So you have to use, if the positive degree is started with very few, you have to use one of the in the superlative degree. It is one of the most remarkable story. And this is how you have to change the degrees: positive into comparative, comparative into superlative, positive, three types. Okay, now another type is Bruce Lee was the strongest man. So now Bruce Lee was the strongest man. Bruce Lee was the strongest man. It is a superlative degree because it is strongest. The adjective is ends with est. So it is shows the superlative degree. Now you have to change it into other two degrees. What are the two degrees remains here? Comparative degree and the superlative degree. So first one is you have to change it into positive degree. How you have to change? See here, it is not in that sentence there is no one of the strongest. The adjective is end with the est. So you have to use not very few. You have to use no other in the positive degree. So no other man, no other man was as. So what is the positive form of the strongest? Strong. As strong as Bruce Lee. That's it. Now same thing, comparative degree. See, if the positive degree starts with no other, what is the comparative degree is here is any other. So now Bruce Lee was stronger. See, strongest, strong, stronger. What is the comparative degree of this adjective is stronger. Stronger than any other man. This is how you have to change one into another. So in the superlative degree, Bruce Lee was the strongest man, and in the positive degree, if there is no one of the, you have to take no other. Okay. So now no other man was as strong as Bruce Lee. The comparative degree, Bruce Lee was stronger than any other man. And the next example. If another rule, if the positive degree is not started with no other or very few, there is no superlative degree is formed. So, for example, a glass of juice is as good as a glass of water. So now in these cases, what you have to do here is, if the positive degree is not started with no other or very few, there is no superlative degree, because if there is two individuals, means a glass of juice is individual and a glass of water is individual. Okay, in that cases, superlative degree is not formed. There is no any superlative degree in this form. Like if we can take name, okay, so like Suma and Geeta. Suma is more intelligent than Geeta. Yes, so in these cases, you should not form the superlative degree, because if there is two individuals, there is no superlative degree. This is how you have to change it into comparative degree. You can change this sentence into comparative degree, not for the superlative degree. How you have to change here is, one thing you have to follow. You have to, this is the affirmative sentence. This affirmative sentence is changed into negative. How? Just swap it. Glass of water here. A glass of water. A glass of water and a glass of juice. right? Just swap two things here. A glass of water placed here and a glass of juice went there. And what you have to follow here is good. This is exception case. This is irregular. Good. What is the positive degree? Better. Okay. Better than. Better than. A glass of water is not better than a glass of juice. This is how you have to change in these cases. Okay. See, a glass of juice is as good as a glass of water. After transforming, what will be the answer? A glass of water is not better than a glass of juice. Just you have to add is not. You have to change into the negative sense in the comparative degree. So for this, there is no superlative degree, because the sentence is not begins with the very few or no other. If it starts with a very few and no other, then only we can transform it into the superlative degree. If there is no very few, there is no none other or no other or whatever it may be. Okay, there is no superlative degree. Just you have to change it into comparative degree, and for the superlative degree, there is no superlative degree. You have to write while you are transforming. If there is two individuals. Okay, so now let us go to the another example. China is larger than most other countries. Most other countries in the world. China is larger than most other countries in the world. So now, first thing what you have to do here is you have to find out which degree it is. Now, this is comparative degree because it has larger than plus than, right? Larger plus than. If the sentence has than, then only you can confirm the it is a comparative degree. This comparative degree you have to change first into the superlative degree. See, this is most other, right? If it is most other, what you have to do here is superlative degree is just like one of the, right? China is one of the largest country in the world. China is one of the largest country in the world because comparative degree has most other, right? So now what is comparative degree? Sorry, now you have to write positive degree. If it is most or one of the most other in the comparative degree, one of the in the superlative degree, a positive sentence is begins with very few. Very few countries in the world, very few countries in the world are as large as China. Very few countries in the world are as large as China. So this is how you have to transform. In the comparative degree, most other. In the superlative degree, one of the. In the positive degree, very few. These three words you have to keep it in your mind. These three pairs. These three pairs you have to keep it in your mind. No other boy in the class is as intelligent as James. No other boy in the class is as intelligent as James. So now this is the positive degree because intelligent as it has the word, the sentence is begins with no other and it has as adjective as. So this is how you have to identify the degrees. Now after transforming it, this positive degree, and you should transform it into the comparative degree. If it is no other, what you have to do? No other in the comparative degree, any other. James is intelligent. This is more than 2-syllable word. So you should not write intelligent. So you have to write more intelligent. James is more intelligent than any other boy in the class. Now superlative degree. James is most intelligent boy in the class. James is most intelligent boy in the class. This is how you have to transform. If the word is starts with no other, write more intelligent or est, add est for the, in this context it is the more intelligent. In another context you can add est for the adjectives. And for the superlative degree, James is most intelligent boy in the class. Okay, if it is starts with very few, you have to use most other instead of any other, and one of the in the superlative degree. in your examination, how they ask the questions. See, they will give you 1 degree, like no other. India is the largest democracy. India is the largest democracy. So this question, change other degrees. Change the following sentence into other degrees. Other degrees. So now, first thing what you have to do here, you have to find out which degree it is. Which degree it is. Now, which degree it is? So this is India is the largest democracy. Largest shows the superlative degree. Except superlative, there are 2 degrees are remaining. So first one is positive and comparative. Okay, what is the positive degree here is no other, because there is no one of the. If it is India is one of the largest democracy, you have to start with very few. Okay, only here is largest. So you should write no other democracy is as large as India. For the comparative degree, India is larger than any other democracy. So this is how the degrees will change. This is how in the examination they will ask, which carries 2 marks for your exam purpose. Okay, this is for 1 mark and this is for another 1 plus 1, 2 marks in the do as directed, right? So in MCQs, how they will ask in the MCQs? Choose the correct degree of comparison for the following sentence. For the following sentence. Question number 1. I think spring is dash season of the year. I think spring is dash season of the year. Option A, beautiful. B, very beautiful. C, more beautiful. the most beautiful. So now you have to choose the correct answer here. So I think spring is dash season of the year. So if you write beautiful, see how the sentence is. I think spring is beautiful season of the year. There is no degree in that sentence. So this is wrong answer. Now very beautiful. There is no very beautiful in the degrees. This is more beautiful or rather than most beautiful. Okay. See more beautiful. If more where we will use more we will use in the comparative degree. If it is in the comparative degree, there is no than in the sentence. There is no than. If it is than, of course it is more beautiful. There is in the sentence there is no than. So this is the I think spring is the most beautiful season of the year. So D option is the correct answer. This is how they'll ask the question in your examination, which carries 1 marks in the MCQs. They will ask either in the do as direct or else in the MCQs. I hope you understood all about the degrees of comparison. You should keep it in your mind these 3 types. If the positive is starts with no other, you have to write in the comparative degree. Any other and the ES or ER or whatever it may be into the EST, the plus EST into the superlative degree. If the sentence is begins with very few, you have to use many other or most other in the comparative degree and one of the in the superlative degree. So this is all about the degrees of comparison. Remaining part I'll explain you in the next class. Thank you.